exists the soul, the person of Mitt Romney. Did you find him last night?
I believe I did. You know, this all began in the New York Times when that political comment in the Sunday section showed him coming to me for acting advice. That's what started this whole thing. Then I wrote the piece for NewYorkMag.com, and then all of this happened. I was on your show. And so I've got this new political career. Not quite sure why, but in any event, yes, I haven't tried to chase him down, but he's very elusive. Elusive for you, he's elusive for me. He does tend to change characters rather quickly. And last night, I've been coming to this conclusion for some time, and last night I suddenly said, yes, that's who he is. He is that boss who tells lame jokes and waits for everybody to laugh or else, and who keeps us forever off balance, uncertain, and anxious. And that, for me, that is who he is. He is that boss. On the other hand, Obama last night, especially when Libya came up, and he turned suddenly, and he fixed his opponent with this basilisk stare, and he began to talk to him very quietly, but with seething anger underneath, because he'd been accused of politicizing.
Let's watch that, James. Let's watch that very point. We saw a dramatic face-off, as you mentioned, between President Obama and Governor Romney over that embassy attack in Libya, which was so tragic. Of course, we lost Chris Stevens and 3 other Americans. Let's watch.
And the suggestion that anybody in my team, whether Secretary of State, our UN ambassador, anybody on my team, would play politics or mislead when we've lost 4 of our own, Governor, is offensive. That's not what we do. That's not what I do as president. That's not what I do as commander-in-chief.
I think it's interesting the president just said something which is that on the day after the attack, he went to the Rose Garden and said that this was an act of terror.
That's what I said.
You said in the Rose Garden, the day after the attack, it was an act of terror. It was not a spontaneous demonstration. Is that what you're saying?
Please proceed, Governor.
I want to make sure we get that for the record, because it took the president 14 days before he called the attack in Benghazi an act of terror.
Get the transcript.
He did, in fact, sir. So let me call it an act of terror.
Can you say that a little louder, Candy?
He did call it an act of terror.
You know, was one of the things I just realized there, I guess, did last night, James, that he didn't challenge Candy. Once she said it, that was the umpire's call.
No. And when the president said, "Proceed, Governor," he was telling him, "You're about to walk off a cliff, and I'm not going to stop you, pal." It was, you know what it was? You like movies. It was the face-off in High Noon.
Yeah.
And the President of the United States was Gary Cooper. At that moment, he became a hero, I think. And he was also very presidential. So
she was Grace Kelly and shot the bad guy in the back, remember? That was the great scene.
But I'm ready to make a pronouncement that may go no further than this desk, because it's just my opinion. My opinion is that I think America is now faced with a very clear choice. Does it want a president or a boss? And Romney would have no objection to being characterized as a boss, because that's how he presents himself, as a CEO, or he prefers to call it a job creator with that halo around.
And I like to fire people.
Right, but that's the point. Job creator is a euphemism for profit creator, and creating profit often involves firing people.
Right.
So he wouldn't mind being called a boss. So I really think that one of the profound decisions the American people have to make now is whether they want to be governed by a president or a boss. And I mean a boss.
Well, about 15 minutes in last night, the town hall got heated with a confrontation over oil drilling on federal land, which may not be very interesting to a lot of people, but let's watch.
In the last 4 years, you cut permits and licenses on federal land and federal waters in half.
Not true, Governor Romney.
So how much did you cut them by?
Not true.
By how much did you cut them by then?
Governor, we have actually produced more oil.
No. How much did you cut licenses and permits on federal land and federal waters?
Governor Romney, here's what we did. There were a whole bunch of oil companies.
I had a question, and the question was, how much did you cut them by?
You want me to answer
How much did you cut them by?
I'm happy to answer the question.
All right, and it is. I don't think anyone really believes that you're a person who's going to be pushing for oil and gas and coal. You'll get your chance in a moment. I'm still speaking.
Well,
and the answer is, I don't believe people think that's the case, because that wasn't a question.
Okay.
That was a statement.
You know, a couple points. I don't think he understands the Constitution of the United States. He's the President of the United States. You don't say, you'll get your chance. And secondly, under the rules of debate to which he subscribed, and it's well advertised now, there will be no question of one candidate by the other. He subscribed to that. Yet he's a literalist when it comes to the Constitution.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but not any deal he's cut. Your thoughts, James?
If Mitt Romney were the president and Barack Obama were the challenger, and these roles were reversed, and Obama treated Romney, the president, in this construct, the way he was treated, you would have heard an outcry from coast to coast, and you would never, ever hear the end of it. It is rude. It's inexcusable. I think it's a very, very sad day when the presidency, which has been under fire since Nixon, and particularly this president, can be treated this way by someone who is an American citizen.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a lack of deference. I thought in the first debate, he covered up or masked his lack of deference with some opening cordiality and civility. But through it all, he looked down at the president. He looked down at him as a person. And I think a lot of that, I don't even want to get into it, but we can all imagine what that was based upon, and none of it good. Your thoughts on that? I don't think he respects the president as a person.
I can't say that because I don't know. I can't read his mind. It's very hard to read that man in any event. I'd like to read his tax returns. But I find him very, very mysterious. Is he looking down on the president? I wouldn't be at all surprised. A lot of people look down on this president, and as you said, there are some reasons for it that perhaps...
Many of them bad. Anyway, thank you, James Lipton. It's always an honor. We hope to get you back into the last debate.
I'll be back.
The final. Anyway, when we return...